If you're already successful, you have the success, you have the accomplishments, you're independent, you have the money, you have a life that many people actually frankly look at and think, oh my goodness, that's a goal. But the issue is that you are tired. You're tired to your bones, and you actually are wondering how you can keep on going like this. And you don't want to give up your big dreams. You don't want to give up that next level of success, of impact that you know is possible for you. You are here. You were born to make a difference in this world. You were born for there to be before and after you came. And how can you keep it all together? The way I have found that many women, many high achieving women burn out is trying to fit themselves into cookie cutter molds that were made for masculine energy, where masculine energy thrives. And when you bend yourself into a pretzel, seeking, hustling for approval, for worthiness, for love, and you're fitting yourself into a mold that really was not made to fit you, which is burning you out and making your flame dwindle instead of lifting you up and igniting you, this is where you literally shoot yourself in the foot when it comes to those incredibly big dreams and goals. So, how did I find this out? I used to be in the corporate world, and I used to work with the intensity of a Formula One driver and the dedication of a doctor on call. I was doing this not for a few days or a few weeks. I was doing this year in, year out. It wasn't until my body basically said, I'm no longer participating in your nonsense, and I basically burnt out, that I had to stop. I came to a screeching halt, and I really had to assess, why did I burn out? I loved my career. I was hyper driven. I burnt out because there was no longer any joy. My heart was no longer in it. There was no alignment. And this is where I discovered that if you truly want to achieve those huge big goals, you get to step into the phenomenal feminine. And how do we step into the phenomenal feminine after years and years of conditioning that makes you stay in hustle mode, in masculine energy, because you are literally not thriving, but in survival? The pathway is the Rekindle method. Number one, instead of just going and starting to say, oh, I want to build this, this is my goal, etc., etc., I just want you to imagine a garden. And in the garden, there's a lot of junk, there's lots of weeds, there's lots of rubbish. And yes, you want to have this beautiful landscape garden. Do you start planting? No. Do you even start designing? No. What you do first is you clear so you can see the space properly. So when you do plant, the weeds are not going to overtake those beautiful roses that you have. So the first thing we do is you release. You release the shame, the blame, the guilt. The guilt of being your full, authentic self, whilst you may feel that you are casting the shade on others. Blaming anyone and anything or any circumstances instead of taking full responsibility. And the shame, that shame that keeps you small, that makes you shy away from true intimacy, into me you see. That shame that doesn't allow you show up as your authentic self because you're so worried that if anybody truly knows who you truly are, you will no longer be loved and accepted. So we release, then we relax, because you see, when you are stressed, your energy is constricted, and even things that are there for you cannot really come into your life. When you're stressed, you're affecting your physical body in very negative ways. Science knows this already, that stress is really the number one killer when it comes to our physical health in so many ways. And when you are stressed, what happens is the expansion you seek is not possible because your nervous system now detects it as a threat instead of as that beautiful goal that you have. So you release, Then you relax. You relax, you learn to relax through the expansion. You learn to treat rest as your birthright instead of as a reward. You learn to stop pushing through exhaustion and to love yourself enough to treat yourself with the consideration and respect that you would anybody that you loved. Then we go into reconnect, where you learn to walk to the beat of your own heart, where you stop listening to everybody and everything else, where it's not about what mum wants and dad wants and your brothers want and your sisters want and the world wants. You ask yourself, you learn to ask, what do I want? And when you really show up where the intelligence of your mind bows to the wisdom of your soul, where you're connected deep inside, you're aligned mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, then you can step into re-envisioning. Stop going to the ocean with a teaspoon. Understand that when you ask and you believe, you will receive. So the real question is, what do you want? And how big are you prepared to play? How much are you prepared to allow come through you in expression? Stop thinking that you have to do everything by yourself. Step into the role of a co-creatress who dances with life instead of having to have everything on your shoulders and really trying to do it all on your own. Then we move into rejoice. Rejoicing is the understanding that joy and gratitude and appreciation go together. And that which you already give gratitude for, that which you appreciate, will appreciate in your life. And when you step into gratitude for something, it's the acknowledgement of its presence in your life. That acknowledgement is the multiplying effect. That acknowledgement is the magnet. And so when you learn to rejoice, not when something has happened, but to rejoice as a matter of fact, and to allow joy be the magnet for that which you desire, instead of basically joy being the reward for things happening, you step into being cause instead of effect. This is leadership. And then we step into receiving. If you're honest and I ask you, are you more comfortable giving or receiving? You'd probably say more comfortable giving. And it's not your fault. It's because you have been told that giving is better. You've been told good girls are givers. Good girls are pleasing to others. The fact is, giving is amazing. It's great. And without someone to receive, how do you complete the cycle? So as you give in generosity, you must be able to receive in at least equal measure. If you are not, you're creating blocks. And what happens is you keep others small. You don't give them the space. You don't give them the honor, the joy of giving to you. And then you feel resentment and you feel disappointment when they don't show up proactively. But why? Every time they tried, you shut it down and said, I'm good, or I'll do it myself. If you really want to step into leadership first of yourself and self-sovereignty, and then of others as a leader, because there is impact to be made, it's important that you learn to release the old, relax in the expansion, reconnect with the beat of your own heart in sovereignty, re-envision that life, stop playing small, learn to rejoice from a position of being the magnet, and then stepping into receiving. This is the Rekindle Method. This is exactly how I support my clients. Like a client of mine who I started working with, she just left her corporate job and she was hesitating between going back into corporate or setting up her own beautiful facilitation empire. As things happened, she set up her company. And within 3 months, of us working together. She'd set up that company, one, and now she had received incredible offers to literally be a facilitator in huge organizations that were part of the United Nations. 3 months from setup to landing global contracts. Another client of mine basically said to me that what she realized, having done Rekindle, was that she had released this need to be the hyperachiever, to prove herself constantly. That pressure was gone. She felt more joyful. She felt more peaceful. That anxiety of always needing to prove herself to others, to prove her worth to others, was no longer something that drove her life. Can you imagine the shift in your life experience when you're able to show up already knowing you are worthy instead of showing up hustling for worthiness? Another one of my clients who's a super giver, super generous, always there for everyone else, and truly had begun to feel a bit resentful because she felt that others did not think and consider her enough. She started receiving gifts and support left, right, and center. She started receiving appreciation for what she was doing, professionally and in her personal life. She started being able to express her desires, not out of anger and bitterness, but really out of what she preferred. The response was incredible. She started getting what she wanted. So as she gave, she was receiving, and that balance created something so beautiful and powerful, and that was the abundance loop. So if you are sick and tired of everything being on your shoulders, if you truly are ready to move away from being that workaholic, hustling for worthiness, feeling like rest is a threat to you, and you're ready to truly step into knowing what you want very clearly, having a clear vision, and stepping into that beautiful feminine energy like an ovary that stands her ground and is open to receive and is not hustling, then my invitation is to click on the link below. I would love to see you shift from stress, scarcity, and burnout to peace, power, freedom, and absolutely clear purpose. That is what I would love for you. Love and light. I can't wait to connect with you.